Please let me know if the sound is all right. Hopefully the microphone is okay this time. We'll probably be disconnected a couple of times during the stream, but let me know in the chat and I'll plug it back in. I will probably end up triple captaining Haaland this game week. It's so tempting. Just the best informed forward in the game at the moment, playing against one of the worst defensive teams. Makes sense if you still haven't played your triple captain, and if you have Erling Haaland in your team, really makes sense playing it this game week, to be honest. I know there have been some injury doubts about Haaland heading into game week 6, but he has been training in the last couple of sessions for Man City, so I think he will start. He will probably just play 90 minutes, and I think he will do well against Burnley. Let me just have a quick look at the stats for Burnley. Give me a second. So these are the stats, defensive stats for Burnley. They have kept one clean sheet. I actually had a double up on Burnley that given game week. I think it was game week 3, 2 or 3. Can't really remember, but I kept the clean sheet in that game week. I had Esteve and Dubravka. I think it was game week 2. They have only conceded 5 goals, but when we take a look at big chances and shots on target conceded and expected goal, they have actually been one of the worst teams, so they have been a bit lucky only conceding 5 goals so far in the season. So against Man City, I really think that Burnley will struggle. So if you have Erling Haaland, if you still have your triple captain, it makes sense playing it in game week 6. Ryan Kwan, if you had to bench 2 for this game week, Porro, Van de Ven, Lacroix, Palinha, Ismail Assar, Alexander Isak, and Gabriel. I would probably play both Pedro Porro and Van de Ven. Probably Lacroix on the bench with Palinha. So Palinha actually, midweek, he actually played as a center back. No, he did well, but can't really see him scoring, especially when playing center back. So I would play the attacking players Ismail Assar and Alexander Isak, double up on Spurs defense, and I would start Gabriel as well, even though Newcastle, of course, not the easiest fixture, but Gabriel, he can contribute with attacking returns, and Arsenal, they are the best defensive side in the league. So in my opinion, if I had to bench 2, I would go Lacroix and Palinha. Bryce, South Africa, thanks for joining in. Greetings, mate. Wildcard is active, which is just Xavi Simons over Kyrgios on a wildcard, and Mbumo or Foden for the long run. I think both Simmons and Kyrgios are good options. When you take a look at Kyrgios' stats, it's not really impressive when we consider expected goals, but overall, when we take assist into considerations, Kyrgios, he has attacking threat when it comes to delivering assists. So at the moment, I think that Kyrgios is the better option. Of course, Xavi, he has lower ownership. I really like his ownership. He is a differential and he is on set pieces. We saw this in game week 4, but I think that the most exciting pick at the moment is Xavi Simons, but the safest option is definitely Kyrgios. So it kind of depends what you're looking for. If you're satisfied with your rank and if you're on top of your mini leagues, I would probably go Kyrgios. But if you're chasing, if you want to take a bit of a risk, then going Xavi Simons is probably the right call. That's true. Xavi came on for 20 minutes but had 3 very close opportunities to score. Yeah, he's closer to goal. He's like one of the players that are supposed to finish attacks, while Kudus, he is more of a player that is supposed to deliver balls into the box. So I think that Kudus will be a reliable pick going forward, but Xavi, he will potentially be more explosive. So it's probably the more exciting pick, but Kudus is the safest option. And lastly, please phone Haaland and ask him if he's starting this weekend. I think Haaland will start. I'm not really too worried anymore. I think that the Haaland injury was a bit exaggerated because he got yellow flagged and there were some rumors about a back injury, but he has been training with Man City for the last couple of days. I've seen some pictures, so I think that he definitely will start. Pep said as well that he is ready for Burnley this game week, so I think Haaland will start. Benny G01, is Murillo still out for the weekend, or do you think he will start? He's now flagged at 50% chance. No. So in the press conference, let me just put this. So in the press conference, we got the information that Murillo is a close call. What's really strange is that he was supposed to play midweek as well, but he wasn't even in the squad. So I think that Murillo potentially is a player that can miss out this weekend as well. Of course, no confirmed news about Murillo, but I think that it was really strange him not being in the squad. Ange said that he was ready to play, but so I think that he probably has had a bit of a setback to his injury. So I don't have any more news than what we got from Ange Postecoglou in the press conference, but I think it's kind of strange that he before. So I actually think that the Murillo injury is a bit suspicious, and he is a big doubt ahead of this weekend as well. Who do you think I should go for, Kudus or NGI? Out of the two, I would probably go Kudus. Mainly because for me, NGI is one of, when we consider that he is nailed on, he is on set pieces, he is on penalties for Everton, but Spurs, they are a really exciting team, and Kudus is a really good player. We saw this when he played for West Ham as well. Didn't really play up to his full potential. So I think that Kudus is a really good FPL asset at the moment, and especially considering Spurs fixtures. And the fixtures, this is probably why I would go Kudus over NGI at the moment. My transfer plans is actually to bring in NGI as well, so I will potentially have both heading into game week 6. I will get rid of Elanga. He don't look like a starter for Newcastle at the moment. He started midweek. So my transfer this game week will definitely be to sell Elanga and bring in NGI. I'm really tempted to sell Wirtz as well. and bring in Mbumo. I can actually afford Wirtz to Bruno Fernandes, but if I go Mbumo instead of Bruno Fernandes, I can easily sell Chris Wood next game week to bring in Gyökeres. Orange Apple, thanks for joining in. How are we? Just fine. I'm really excited ahead of game week 6. My triple captain is active at the moment. I really think that Haaland will do well against Burnley. The yellow flag is gone. He has been training for the last couple of sessions for Man City, so the best attacking stats playing against the worst defensive stats. I think this will be a good game week for Haaland owners. So my triple captain is active. I want to make at least one transfer this game week. Will consider doing 2 transfers. Just mentioned them. Elanga will definitely be gone. He's not a starter for Newcastle at the moment. And Anthony Gordon is back as well, so there will be even harder for Elanga to get into the starting 11. Elanga started midweek as well, so I think that he will be benched once more. Do you think Jared Bowen can score this weekend? So the thing with Jared Bowen is that he can definitely score against anyone. He is that kind of player that we know he will start. We know that he will get a couple of chances. The thing is that playing away against Everton is not the easiest fixture. I think that Everton will do well in and win this fixture, to be honest. West Ham, I think that when you consider West Ham, they have been quite strange this season. Started so bad in game week 1 against Sunderland, played so bad in game week 2 as well. All of a sudden in game week 3, they looked really, really good. But in game week 4, game week 5, they haven't really impressed. So I think that West Ham will struggle against Everton in game week 6 as well. So thoughts on Tavernier? I think that he is a bit of an underrated pick, but the problem with Tavernier is that he has been playing like a number 10 for Bournemouth so far this season, but I think this is mostly because of the injury to Kluivert, so I think that he will share minutes going forward when Kluivert is back fit. I think that Kluivert potentially can start in game week 6, and this will make Tavernier a worse pick in my opinion. So he has been really good, contributing with attacking returns and defensive contribution points as well. So starting in game week 1 with Tavernier, or potentially getting him in if we get another injury to Kluivert. But at the moment, Kluivert, he is returning 200% fitness. So I would probably wait and see what happens when Kluivert is in the starting 11. Thoughts on my team: Petrovic in goal, Anderson, Munoz, and Nico Williams, Kudus, Wirtz, Semenyo, Bruno Fernandes, up front, Haaland, Ekitike, and Joao Pedro. Would you take a -4 to replace Murillo? I'm not really sure if I would take a -4 to replace Murillo with this team. To be honest, I would be more concerned about Ekitike. He will not play in game week 6, and we know Alexander Isak is getting close to fitness again. So I think that he will share minutes going forward. You have Wirtz as well. I will consider selling him this game week. Other than this, I think this team looks good. Murillo, I think that if Murillo is out for game week 6, I think that he definitely will be back for game week 7 and onwards. He is definitely nailed on for Nottingham Forest while he's fit, so I wouldn't necessarily take a -4 to get rid of Murillo. FPL Lisa, hi Rick, hi Lisa, thanks for joining in. Would you wildcard with that team? I think that there are a couple of players in this team I would keep if I played my wildcard. So Petrovic is decent, Anderson as well, Munoz 50-50, Nico Williams as well. Kyrgios is a good option if you're on a wildcard. Semenyo as well. Bruno Fernandes would be in most wildcards. Haaland would be in most wildcards. And Joao Pedro. So I wouldn't necessarily think that a wildcard is needed for this team. It looks good on paper, and with a couple of transfers, it would look really close to the template wildcard, in my opinion. Ryan K, who would you bench between James Garner, Sar, and Minte? I think that when it comes to minutes, Garner and Minte, they will probably be the safest options. Ismail Assar, he has been out for some weeks and he has the toughest fixture, so I would probably just bench Ismail Assar. I will definitely bench him this game week. I will play Kyrgios, Rodgers against Fulham. I know Rodgers has not been really good FPL wise, but my front three will definitely start. So holds Salah and Gakpo this week already have Haaland. Yes, I think that both Salah and Gakpo will start this game week. I can see a front three with Gakpo on the left, Alexander Isak getting his first start with Salah on the right. It's not like, I know Crystal Palace, they have been solid defensively, but it's not like Liverpool can't score against anyone. They are probably the best attacking team in the league. So it's not like the Liverpool attackers are definite sells ahead of game week 6. They have been popular transfers out on a wild card because they have tougher fixtures coming up, and shifting from Mo Salah to Erling Haaland is a really popular strategy at the moment because of both form and fixtures. I think that the Salah owners have been a bit lucky so far this season, considering that he hasn't really looked that great. The stats is not good, and goals and assists he has been getting has come really late on in the game. So a bit lucky for the Salah owners, but I wouldn't say that he is definite sell ahead of game week 6. Start Murillo, Josh King, or Rodon. I would start Murillo. It's like I talked about Murillo. I think it's kind of strange that he was meant to be in the squad midweek, but he wasn't. So I think that he will play in game week 6, but if he doesn't play, he won't play at all. So start Murillo and have, I would say, Josh King on first bench, especially if you have Semenyo, because Rodon and Semenyo will play against each other. So start Murillo, but have Josh King first bench. What's your reasoning for triple captaining Haaland this week? My reasoning for triple captaining Haaland is because Haaland, he has the best attacking stats when we take a look at shots in the box, touches, not touches, but shots in the box, big chances, and expected goals. And Burnley, they have the worst defensive stats when we take a look at the same metric. So let's quickly put this up back on screen. This is Burnley stats so far this season, last 4 game weeks. They have only conceded 5 goals, so not the worst, but when we take a closer look at the stats, big chances conceded 11, shots on target 19, and expected goals conceded 8.15. So only conceding 5 goals for Burnley. I think they have been a bit lucky. So Man City, will probably do well against them. So one of the reasons why they have only conceded 5 goals is because Dubravka, he has actually been quite good. We know that he is a good shot stopper, but I think they will struggle in game week 6 against Man City. So this is one of the reasons why I'm really tempted to play my triple captain this game week. Ryan K, do you think it's safer to play Lacroix or Minte, knowing that Lacroix faces Liverpool and Minte faces Chelsea? So if it's between Lacroix and Minte, I would probably play the attacking player. Minte is actually looked quite good recently as well, and I think that playing against Chelsea is far easier compared to playing against Liverpool. And when it comes to Lacroix, Liverpool, they can like score 4 goals against Crystal Palace, and this means that Lacroix will get 0 points. So playing Minte is probably the best option. Orange Apple, are there double game weeks coming up in 17 or something? Potentially there can be double game weeks in 17, but it's not looking likely. One of the experts on double game weeks, Ben Krellin on X, I think that he mentioned something like 15 to 20% chance of a double game week in game week 17. So not high hopes, but I think that there statistically still is a chance that we will get a double game week. But the thing is that I haven't really memorized which teams will be involved, but the double game week will not be that interesting. So there will be hard fixtures for the interesting FPL players. So I'll definitely look into the potential double game week 17. As mentioned, I just read something about it, and Ben Krellin on X is probably the best bet if you want more information about the double game week 17. But I will look into it myself, but at the moment I don't have that much information. Sandri, thanks for joining in. Hi, I did the wildcard this week. My team is Raya Dubravka, in goal Tarkovsky, Gabriel, Senesi, Richards, Aldrete, and in midfield Bruno Fernandes and Jai, Reinders, Semenyo, Caicedo, up front Gyökeres and Haaland. And a double Gyökeres is in. But I would guess that that second Gyökeres is João Pedro. Is João Pedro in your team? I think that it depends if you have played your bench boost or not. Yeah, João Pedro, last player. Really, really strong team. I like Reinders at the moment. Was a bit unsure about Reinders ahead of game week 1. He did well in game week 1, but blanked in those other game weeks. But he's had some big chances recently, so I think that he can continue delivering. So Reinders on a wildcard, it's a yes from me. However, I'm not a big Caicedo fan. I would probably just go Josh King, to be honest, 4.5. And keep some funds in the bank. You can potentially upgrade and Jai later on if you have Josh King on your bench, but I really like this team. It makes sense going for Raya and Dubravka. I like this on a wildcard. Arsenal, they have lovely fixtures from game week 7. Double up with Gabriel. The only problem with doubling up on Raya and Gabriel is that you're lacking the opportunity to get in one of the Arsenal midfielders. So if we get an injury to, let's say, SA, or at the moment Madueke, he is actually injured, but if SA is injured as well, then all of a sudden Martinelli can become a must-have. But I think doubling up with both Gabriel and Raya is good at the moment, to be honest. Tarkovsky, I'm not really that impressed with Tarkovsky so far this season. I know that he has been picking up defensive contribution points, but he's not looked that threatening on set pieces as we've seen earlier. Like, his role is like to run through the box. I think I haven't really checked since game week 4, I think, but his expected goal was like 0.01, something like that. So go check Tarkovsky's attacking stats. It's not really that impressive compared to other seasons. So he has a kind of a different role on set pieces compared to other seasons. So I'm not sure if Tarkovsky is worth 5.5 at the moment. Any other suggestions? Let's take a quick look. I really like the defense. You have some really good value options in there as well. Gabriel, Senesi, Richards, already. I would have Bruno Fernandes on a wildcard as well. I like it, especially the next couple of games for Man United. I think they will score some goals. They actually have the highest expected goals so far. Jai is a decent option. Probably my transfer in this game week as well. Nailed on for Everton and on penalties. Semenyo Caicedo. So I can't really fault this team. The only player I don't really like is, as mentioned, Caicedo, and I would probably just go Josh King because you can't play eight attackers unless you're on a bench boost. So Caicedo is a DEFCON magnet. I know this very well. I'm a Chelsea fan. I think that he will probably get DEFCON 9 out of 10 games, to be honest. So it's like he's been close to 20 DEFCONs in some of the games as well. So of course, if you're satisfied with having Caicedo in your team picking up 2 and 4 pointers, I can't really see him delivering attacking returns as we saw in game week 5, but I would potentially just use more of my budget on my starting 11. But yeah, you will probably, with this team, you will probably just bench Caicedo a lot, wouldn't you? Very tempted to wildcard now, might do it. So Orange Apple looked at Saunders' team, potentially got tempted to play the wildcard this game week. I think game week 6 is a really good game week to wildcard. Bring in those Man City players. And I know Arsenal don't have the best fixture in game week 6, but if you're playing your wildcard, at least have a couple of Arsenal players because they have a really, really good fixtures from game week 7 and onwards. A -4 to take Ekitike out. Good week to free hit. I think that game week 6 is an okay game week to free hit. I think game week 5 potentially was an even better game week to play the free hit chip because of the Man City against Arsenal fixture. I think game week 15, if you still have your free hit intact, I think game week 15 is an even better game week. There are a lot of good fixtures for the best teams and the best FPL options in game week 15. So if you're like just searching for a game week to use your free hit, I would potentially go and check out game week 15, to be honest. Let's see. So in game week 15, those are the fixtures. Liverpool playing against Leeds, Man City playing against Sunderland, Newcastle at home. These are the fixtures for game week 15. If you're just searching for a game week to use your free hit, I think game week 15 looks like a really good game week for a free hit. Thoughts on Cologne and Stach? I think that's, I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but Stach? Is it Stach? Leeds midfielder. I think that he has looked really good. He did well in game week 5 as well. I've seen it in a lot of wildcards on X. Only priced at 5, potentially 5.1. I haven't really checked his price today, but I think that he is a really good enabler. I've seen a couple of drafts with both Erling Haaland and Mo Salah, and most of those teams have Stach in their team. Sorry about the pronunciation. Need to practice. Stach. Orange Apple, maybe just for a bad week this week. Not looking good for me now that Murillo and Ekitiki are out right on the edge of a wildcard, but just not enough. I think that Murillo is probably a keep, while Ekitiki probably is a sell at the moment, especially considering that Alexander Isak, as mentioned, is close to back at the moment. So I can't really see Ekitiki starting week in, week out as Liverpool's number 9, while Alexander Isak is on the bench. They will potentially start a couple of games together, but I think they will share minutes. So I think that if you have Ekitiki, I think it makes sense to just get rid, especially considering Liverpool's fixtures as well. So I think that's something like Ekitiki to Gyökeres if you can afford to upgrade. I know Arsenal don't have the best fixture in game week 6 playing against Newcastle, but of course Gyökeres, he can score against Newcastle, and from game week 7 and onwards Arsenal's fixtures are really, really good. So what Stach, yeah. Free hit 7 to avoid Liverpool and Chelsea fixture clash. Yeah. So this is one of the things I like about the double chips this season, is that we can use the free hit, especially the first free hit for stuff like this. There will not be a lot of blanks and doubles before Christmas. So targeting fixtures like the, as mentioned, Chelsea and Liverpool fixture, especially if you have a couple of Liverpool players and if you have Sanchez, Joe Pedro, probably maybe Enzo as well, you wouldn't like to play your triple Chelsea against Liverpool. So I think the free hit is warranted if you're in a situation like that, to be honest. I can afford, but for a -4, so probably worth just waiting. Yeah, I think that a -4 is close to, I would be close to making that -4. I'm not a big fan of taking hits, but it's not like Ekitiki is injured and out for an extended period. So you're probably right. Just keep him, bench him, and pray that he starts in game week 7. I want to start Caicedo in for Gyökeres. Thoughts? I would definitely start Gyökeres ahead of Caicedo, to be honest. Stark. 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 Stach. I think Stach is kind of close. Stark. I haven't really seen that one too often, but Wirtz or Hall to start. So if you have Wirtz, is priced at 8.2. So if you have Wirtz, I wouldn't necessarily bench him. I would just start him and have him in my starting 11. But if you're really considering benching Wirtz, I would probably just sell him, to be honest. So my plan is actually to sell Elanga. I don't think that he will start for Newcastle. He did not start in game week 5. So Elanga, he will be sold. So my first transfer will be Elanga to NGI from Everton. I'm really tempted to sell Wirtz and bring in Mbumo as well. One of the reasons why I'm going Mbumo instead of Bruno Fernandes is because if I go Bruno, I can't afford Chris Wood to Gyökeres next game week. So Elanga to NGI, Wirtz to Mbumo, and I can do Chris Wood to Gyökeres next game week for free. He physically can't start because he got red carded versus Southampton in the Carabao Cup. The idiot took his top off as celebration and got a second yellow. Yeah, I know he will definitely not play in game week 6. I was talking about game week 7. Bench him in game week 6 and just hope that he will start in game week 7. I actually read some quotes from Arne Slot in the press conference after the game against Southampton. He was kind of pissed on Ekitike, to be honest. Like talking about Ekitike making that goal all about himself. And Slot said that if he would score a goal like that, he would run to the player that assisted instead of just taking all of the praise. You think that Gyökeres, I know, I had a look at the stats ahead of game week 5, and Arsenal, they were the best defensive team. Newcastle, they were actually second. So you're definitely right about Newcastle's defensive ability, and I think that if you have a feeling Gyökeres will blank against Newcastle, then I think you should just bench him, to be honest. But if I don't really like benching players that's on penalties, that's my main concern about benching Gyökeres in game week 6. Anton Stach muted you. He probably should. I'm really sorry, Anton. I should probably call him just Anton going forward. Invicta with a wildcard draft. Let's have a look. Raya, Ingol, Van Dijk, Gabriel, Guardiol. Really expensive defense. 5.5 goalkeeper and 3.6 million defenders. In midfield, Mbumo, Xavi Simons, Minte, Reinders, and up front, Alexander Isak, Gyökeres, and Erling Haaland. Dubravka, Aldrete, Rodon, and Miley on the bench. I think this team on paper looks really good, really solid defense. What I don't really like is that I think that you probably spent a bit too much in defense and that your midfield is a bit light. The problem with a team structure like this is that if you really need someone like Saka, Cole Palmer when he's back, it will be hard getting the funds to upgrade one of your midfielders to those kind of players. But Of course, this can work. Alexander Isak, Gyökeres, Haaland, expensive front three as well. But it's like those defenses, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, they are the best defenses. They are the best options. So you have to pay to get into their defense and cover the clean sheets they will get going forward. So my only concern is that the midfield probably is a bit light. Wildcard locked. Good luck, boys. See you in the rant thread. I blame myself for going for a United player, dropping Pedro, bringing Alexander Isak in too early and going with. I think that going without Joe Pedro is a decent punt at the moment. He's so highly owned. The fixtures are not the best for Joe Pedro and Chelsea going forward. He actually don't have the best attacking stats either. He's not on penalties, not on set pieces for Chelsea. He's actually scored on 2 corners. We haven't really seen this from Joe Pedro. So I think that actually he has been a bit lucky. I still think that he is a really, really good option, but I don't really see Joe Pedro as a must own. So on a wildcard going without Joe Pedro, I think this is perfectly fine, to be honest. Midfield is very light. Yes, thanks for the feedback. Wanted to do something different. Agree with everything you say. So, of course, as mentioned, I think that the team looks good. A lot of good FPL options. My main concern would be team structure and the fact that it will be really hard to bring in those midfielders if they do well. So you will have to at least use 2 or 3 transfers to get the likes of Saka, Cole Palmer, of course Mo Salah. I like Mbumo as well. As mentioned earlier, I will potentially bring Mbumo into my team this game week as well. Elanga, Wirtz, especially Elanga, he will definitely be sold. I will bring in NGI and Wirtz to Mbumo is really, really tempting as well. I have 3 free transfers. Will probably use 2 of them. Let's have a quick look at my transfers this game week. Oops. I should probably sell Rogers as well, but the thing with Rogers is that I know he has blanked every game week so far, but it's not like he's played that bad. He's getting into good positions, but the Aston Villa attack, they're just not clicking at the moment, but hopefully they can do something against Fulham. They have a really good fixture in game week 7 against Burnley and playing against Spurs in game week 8. So if he don't deliver against Fulham or Burnley, he will be gone ahead of game week 8. Elanga, and I will bring in Njai. Really good fixture playing against West Ham on set pieces for Everton, including penalties. So this will give me 2.1 in the bank. Wirtz to Mbumo is really, really tempting as well. So as mentioned a couple of times, why not Semenyo? Ah, why not Semenyo? Good question from FPL Lisa. The thing is that I think that at this stage, I think that the Semenyo train probably have left the station. So I know he's been really good so far, but his ownership is really, really high. And I watched those games, he's been a bit lucky with a couple of his returns. I think that at sorry about the microphone. I think that Semenyo at some point really soon will go back to the old Semenyo that we're familiar with. Will need at least 5 to 6 big chances to get a goal. I think he was a bit lucky against Liverpool. A couple of his assists haven't really been. It's not like Semenyo has done the work. It's the goal scorer that made the goal. So he's been a bit lucky with a couple of his returns so far this season. His price has gone up quite a bit. Started at 7. His ownership has gone up. I think that it's probably a bit late going for Semenyo at this stage, but of course, really good option. If I were to use my wildcard, I would probably just have Semenyo in, but with a free transfer, I like taking a punt on NGI and potentially Mbumo as well. Have you already wildcarded? Yes, I wildcarded in game week 3. I had a lot of injuries around game week 3, so I had both Cole Palmer and Saka and a couple of other fires to put out as well. So my wildcard was played in game week 3. Got a bit unlucky with my wildcard as well. Brought in Sar, he got injured straight away. Fabian Schär as well. So my plan was actually to bench boost in game week 2. Couldn't really play the bench boost because of injuries and suspensions. I had Konsa in game week 1. He got a red card. Did not play in game week 2, so I had to delay my bench boost. Wanted to play the bench boost in game week 5 as well, but injuries to Sar and excuse me, and Fabian Schär made me delay the bench boost once again. Not get more injuries ahead of game week 8. Are you going to transfer Schär? No, I will just keep him on my bench. I think it kind of makes it easier for me to select my starting 11 as well. So with this team, if I do the NGI and Mbumo transfers, I think I can easily just bench Sar. He has been out for a while. Tough fixture playing against Liverpool. So Sar, he will be first bench. And I will have Rodon playing against Bournemouth and Fabian Schär last on the bench. So don't really see any point in transferring out Schär. He has had a concussion, so we know with those injuries, when he's back, he will probably get straight into the starting 11. So I will just keep him. I think I will just do those moves. And Bumo, really good fixture against Brentford, and GI at home against West. connected more and more. So I have been thinking about the Elanga to NGI, especially this move has been penciled in for a couple of days now. I'm quite sure that I will sell Wirtz as well, so I think I might just do those moves tonight. We'll have a quick look at some price predictions as well to see if some of those players might drop in price. So Grealish, he looks set for a rise. Guehi as well. Gabriel, Kudus, Van de Ven, Anthony, the Burnley midfielder. Caicedo will potentially go up tonight, but if Caicedo is still 5.6 tomorrow, he will probably go up. During the weekend, Alexander Isak, Isidore, and Calafiori, those are the favorites for price rise. Let's take a look at NGI. NGI will not rise in price, and neither will Mbumo. SAR will still be 6.4. Wirtz will potentially drop during the weekend, so I don't really need to make those moves tonight. But I'm really tempted to just get it out of the way. But I will just wait until tomorrow for my deadline stream. We might get some information. So seeing that my team will not be affected when it comes to price changes, I will just hold those moves. But I'm really close to saying that this will be my game week 6 transfers, to be honest. Predictions for the games. I really like doing predictions. I'm not really sure if I have done a couple of predictions earlier as well. Not really sure how many of them. Not really sure how many predictions I got right last game week, but let's give it a try. Brentford, Man United. I think Man United will take this, but I can't really see them keeping a clean sheet, so I think Brentford will score. I think potentially a 1-3-2 to Man United. So Brentford 1, Man United 3. I think Chelsea will do well against Brighton. They are actually... I'm not 100% sure how Chelsea will line up. They have some injuries. Tosin, he's out. We know Colville is out as well. Sanchez, kind of depends how he starts the game, as we saw against Man United. Not the best confidence, so I can't see Brighton scoring in this one, but Chelsea will probably take this 2-1 Chelsea. Crystal Palace, Liverpool. I think Liverpool will take this one, potentially keeping a clean sheet as well. 0-3 to Liverpool. Leeds, Bournemouth 0-2. Can't really see Calvert-Lewin scoring against Petrovic on Saturday. Man City, Burnley. Hopefully this will be a goal fest. One of the best attacking teams playing against one of the worst defensive teams. I know Burnley, they will sit low, try to defend, but if Man City score early on, City gets an early goal against Burnley, this can be a goal fest. So I think it potentially can be 4 or 5-0 to Man City. Nottingham Forest, Sunderland. Hopefully Forest can do well. I will have both Williams and Chris Wood in this game, but Sunderland, they are a bit underrated. I don't really think that Nottingham Forest will have a field day, so 2-1. Spurs, Wolves, 3-0. I think Spurs will do well in this fixture. Aston Villa, Fulham. can't really see many goals in that fixture, so potentially, like we saw midweek, 1-0 to Aston Villa. Newcastle, Arsenal, two really good defensive teams, but I think Arsenal will take this. I think 0-1 maybe, or potentially they will draw 1-1. And that last game, Everton against West Ham, it's, I think, as mentioned earlier at the beginning of this stream, I think it's kind of hard to call when it comes to West Ham, but I think that Everton will win this 2-0 potentially for Everton in this fixture. So there are a couple of games I'm quite sure about. Aston Villa, Fulham, low scoring game. I'm really hoping that Man City can do well against Burnley. Thoughts on Nico O'Reilly? Really good. He looks good. He can potentially get some attacking returns as well. A really, really good footballer. But at the moment, I don't really see him as a really good FPL option. He will see rotation. That's the problem with Nico O'Reilly. I think if Jared Bowen hat-trick against Everton. Looks like Jared Bowen, he is a really, really good player. I actually remember him scoring a hat-trick a couple of seasons ago as well. I think he scored a hat-trick in the first half in some game in the 23-24 season. But thoughts on Nico Riley? I think that he is a good player, but not necessarily a good FPL. So let's get this. So this is my team at the moment, really close to. I was actually tempted to just make my moves 5 minutes ago, but I will wait until tomorrow. My plan transfers, selling Elanga, that's my first priority. NGI is really tempting, so Elanga to NGI, and I will most probably sell Wirtz this game week to bring in Mbumo. The reason for going Mbumo instead of Bruno Fernandes is because if I pick Mbumo, I can easily upgrade Chris Wood to Gyökeres ahead of game week 7. Why not triple captain Kudus? I definitely agree with Kudus being a really good option for game week 6, but when we take a look at the stats for Spurs, Kudus is not really that threatening when it comes to scoring goals. He has been good when it comes to assisting, but I think that after game week 4, his expected goal was like 0.15, something like that. So I would like to see him more in the box taking shots before giving him the triple captain. To be honest, he's not. I haven't really seen any free kicks from Kudus. He's on corners, but no free kicks, no penalties. So a really good option, but I wouldn't necessarily triple captain Kudus, even though the fixture is really good. So Haaland, he is actually the best attacking stats and the best fixture, so he will be my triple captain. Why not a vice captain? I'm sorry, I agree, he is probably a better option compared to Chris Wood. Probably a better option compared to Christopher Wood this game week. The thing is with Chris Wood that he can potentially be benched soon. I think he'll definitely start in game week 6. He was rested midweek while Igor Jesus, he started for Forest. Played 60 minutes, so he's definitely ready to play more this week. In Igor Jesus had 6 shots. A really good player. I saw him in the FIFA Club World Cup as well, so great signing for Nottingham Forest. And Chris Wood, he will see some rotation going forward, especially when we're heading into December and hectic Christmas schedule. Wood is definitely a sell ahead of the hectic Christmas schedule, so this is actually one of the reasons why I will go Mbumo instead of Bruno Fernandes, so I can sell Chris Wood in game week 7. Keeping Chris Wood for the Sunderland fixture makes sense, while Gyökeres, my replacement, he doesn't really have the best fixture in game week 6 playing against Newcastle. Thoughts on Kevin from Fulham? I agree with you, a lot of potential, but no attacking returns. I think it's the same with Rodgers. The thing is that Kevin, he's priced at 6 million as well, isn't he? 5.9 probably, maybe. The fixture's not the best for Fulham in the upcoming game week. So if I were on a wildcard, I would probably just go for Josh King 4.5 and have him on my bench, to be honest. I think a 6 million midfielder is too expensive benching, and I wouldn't want him in my starting 11 week in, week out. So potentially a really good asset going forward. I would keep him on my watch list, but at the moment, I'm not that interested, to be honest. FPL Lisa, he has a lot of potential, but not getting any returns. Is that Kevin from Fulham or Kudus? Kudus, both of them has a lot of potential, to be honest. Kudus, he has actually been delivering, especially when it comes to assisting, but I would bring Kudus on a wildcard, but Kevin, he is a wait and see, in my opinion. Benchy B, wildcard active. I got 1 million in the bank, but don't know what to do with it. Are you wildcarding? I'm actually not wildcarding this game week. I have my triple captain active, Erling Haaland. I was talking about Wood. Chris Wood, a lot of potential. He did well in game week 1. He's been a bit unlucky. I watched most of the Nottingham Forest games. It's been a bit unlucky, to be honest. So I think Chris Wood owners, hopefully, we will be rewarded in game week 6 against Sunderland. Who to bench? Evan Nilsson, Pedro, or Anton? I will. That name wrong. Stach. Evan Nilsson, Pedro, or Stach? So Neil, which Pedro are you considering putting on your bench if it's Joao Pedro? I think you definitely should start Joao Pedro. It would be between Evan Nilsson and Stach, and I would definitely start Evan Nilsson for game week 6. Who would you upgrade with 1 million out of Richards, Gudmundsson, NGI, or Stach? Or would you just save the money? Joao from Chelsea. Definitely start Joao Pedro. Good fixture for Chelsea against Brighton, and I think he definitely will start as the number 9. So I would bench Stach. Who would you upgrade with 1 million? Richards, Gudmundsson. I think that you should just keep Gudmundsson, 4 million starter for Leeds. A really good option. I would have Rodon or Gudmundsson on my wildcard as well. NGI is a really good option. He's actually one player I'm really considering to bring in ahead of game week 6. Stach. It kind of depends if you're going to play Stach each game week or if he's going to be on your bench, to be honest. So if you have, if it's possible for you to post a picture of your team over at X or just write it in the chat, it will be a bit easier to answer, to be honest. But with 1 million, I can see some potential upgrades. Richards, for you can potentially. I think it's really, really tempting to bring in at least a defender. Fair enough. I think Gudmundsson, though, I think that I potentially would have him rather than Mukiele, but if I were you, I'd do Wirtz to NGI and then Wood to Gyökeres. So really strange mentioning those transfers, to be honest, Benchy, because my plan this game week is to sell Elanga to bring in NGI. I will sell Wirtz to bring in Mbumo, and I will sell Chris Wood to bring in Gyökeres next game week. So I will play Chris Wood for game week 6 and the fixture against Sunderland, and I will sell him next game week for Gyökeres. Orange Apple triple captain active. I've done it. I've done it myself. My triple captain is active as well. I think this is a really good game week to use the triple captain. It's not just because it's Haaland, it's because it's an in-form Haaland playing against a weak defensive Burnley. But Benji, I really agree with those transfers. Selling Wirtz to NGI, really tempting. We'll do something similar, Benji. I really like those moves. Wirtz, you can just say that my transfers will be Wirtz to NGI and Elanga to Mbumo. Orange Apple, are you keeping Wood and Rogers even after this week? Chris Wood will most probably be gone, at least that's my plan at the moment. Elanga, Wirtz to Mbumo and NGI, and this will give me enough in the bank to upgrade Chris Wood to Gyökeres in game week 7. Your sound breaks intermittently for a few words. I know there's something wrong with my microphone. I haven't really fixed it yet. Terribly sorry. I know I need to fix my microphone. There's something wrong about the cable. Not really sure what's going on. I'm not even touching the microphone nor the cable, but all of a sudden. So I got a tip from someone watching the stream about going into Microsoft Advanced settings, something about some power save settings. So I tried turning those off. It actually helped a bit, but yeah, not really sure. I can't really afford upgrading the microphone at the moment. So this was like a £400 microphone. So I think I should just try getting a couple of new cables. Orange, what do you think of my team? Benchy wants a second opinion. He's a DEFCON machine. Yeah, I think that this team is really good, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. Benchy with Raya in goal, Dubravka on the bench. I think it makes sense having Dubravka, the only starting 4.0 option. So if you haven't done so, please consider go checking out my team selection video as well. It will really help getting the watch time hours up a bit. So if you're interested, go check that out after this stream. That would be really appreciated. I'm talking about a wildcard team in this video, so if you're interested, go check it out. Gabriel in defense, Lacroix, good option. Anderson as well, Senesi. So a really strong defense with a lot of value. I think Senesi, even though he's 4.8 at the moment, I think he's still a really good value option. Michele, and in midfield we have Salah, NGI, Reinders, Semenyo, Stach, and Haaland. Joe Pedro and Mark Guihu on top. As mentioned earlier, like 30 minutes ago, I talked about the Haaland and Salah teams. I think that enablers like Reinders and Stach, I think they are decent options. I wouldn't be that confident playing them week in, week out, seeing you have Guihi as an enabler as well, a bench fodder 4.8. So you will have to play Stach every game week, of course, with this team, but considering his performances lately, I think that he is a good enabler. So at the moment, I think a Haaland and Salah team actually is possible. So Benchy, I really like this team, to be honest. You have enough decent defenders as well, so your bench is kind of strong enough, even though Guihi is on it. I can't really see him taking the number 9 spot for Chelsea at the moment. But a really strong team. Let's see, you have Salah, NGI, Haaland, 3 penalty takers, potentially Semenyo as well. 4 penalty takers, especially while Kluivert, if he's not on the pitch. I could go Stach to Kudus and Lacroix down to Riches. I would definitely go Stach to Kudus, especially seeing how Guihi and Stach will play every game week. So if you have an option to sell Stach and bring in Kudus, that's definitely something I would consider on a wildcard. So we only have 7 strong attackers like midfielders and forwards, and with Guihi, I would definitely upgrade Stach to Kudus if that's an option. Neil Cheeseman, I have Grealish and not NGI. Fair enough. My favorite option from Everton at the moment is actually NGI, mostly because of the fact that he is 100% nailed and on penalties. Grealish, really good option as well. Should have scored in game week 5. Big chance, but no points for Jack Grealish. Or Paqueta. I would go Kudus instead of Paqueta, considering that Spurs, they are looking really good at the moment and they have decent fixtures coming up as well. West Ham, I'm not sure if we can rely on West Ham delivering week in, week out, because they, as mentioned earlier, they looked so poor in game week 1, game week 2, did well against Spurs in game week 3, but game week 4, game week 5, West Ham haven't really delivered. So at the moment, I would prefer having Kudus rather than Paqueta. So the bookie's favorite for anytime goal scorer in game week 6, Erling Haaland, he is the big favorite ahead of game week 6. 66%, this is the highest we've seen so far this season. Richarlison, he is actually second for Spurs fixture against Wolves, 44, while Alexander Isak, he is third. When it comes to expected clean sheets, Man City, they are first, Spurs second, and Nottingham Forest against Sunderland, they are third. So I think on a wildcard, I would at least have one Man City defender in. I like Guardiola, and I think that having Donnarumma is a good option as well. If you could change anything about FPL, what would it be? I would have a chip that lets you get 4 players from one team. So for one game week, you can have 4 players from one team. Yeah, that could be a really interesting chip. I actually think that the old chip from the 22-23 season, the all-out attack chip, I think this was a quite fun chip, to be honest, when we could play only two defenders and 8 attackers. So what I've been talking about for a couple of seasons when it comes to changing FPL is that I would really love to see FPL not showing the player's ownership ahead of game week 1. I like, of course, seeing... So this is only ahead of game week 1. I think that early on that it gets... I think that the teams are getting a bit too template ahead of game week 1 because casual players are just logging in and picking the most selected players. So I think that if we could see like points from last season, I think it would have been great if the ownership of the players just got shown after game week 1. I think that would be really interesting. I thought the manager chip was class. Neil, that's a great shout. I think that the assistant manager chip last season was interesting as well. I think that potentially, especially when it comes to the table bonus, I think it probably was a bit too much having 10 points on that one, but I would like to see the assistant managership reintroduced, but maybe with a bit less swings compared to what we saw last season, to be honest. So the table bonus was 10 points. So if a team or an assistant manager beats a team that's were placed 5 places above the initial team, it would give you 10 extra points. And yeah, I think that was potentially a bit too much. But the assistant managership reintroduced with a table bonus with only 5 points, that would be a great addition in my opinion. In fact, we got the perfect chip. You get extra points based on how owned a player is. So if they are very low owned, they get extra points. If a player is highly owned, they get -1 point. That would end template teams. So really, really interesting. I should have mentioned this as well in the FIFA Club World Cup game. I played this as well. I made a couple of videos about it. Really enjoyed FIFA Club World Cup this summer. In that game, they actually the sound guys, but in that game they actually had something called scouting bonus. So if your player were owned by, I think it was 5%, so less than 5% owned, you would get an extra 2 points from that given player. So I would like to see this in FPL as well. It would be really, really interesting. So I like this Benji. Would be really, really interesting to see. I like what they've done this season as well with the introduction of the defensive contribution points. And at the same time, I actually think that it's a good thing that they kept it at 2 points. I still think that it's a really interesting addition to the game, to be honest. So we've seen like Caicedo being in a lot of wildcard teams, Elliot Anderson from Nottingham Forest as well. So those players wouldn't be really interesting if it weren't for DEFCON. So Charlie Lindstrom, thanks for joining in. Charlie, what would your free hit team this week be? I've activated the chip. So to be honest, I haven't really looked that much into a free hit team this game week, but let's have a quick look. I would at least have a couple of players from Spurs. I would probably go Richarlison on a free hit. I think that he is one of the best free hit players because the other two number 9s for Spurs, they are injured at the moment. We know Solanke is out. Koulibaly, he will miss out as well. So Richarlison, he will definitely start game week 6 and they have a really good fixture. So I would have Richarlison in my free hit team. Haaland would be in as well. It would be close between Chris Wood and Joao Pedro. At least up front, I would have Erling Haaland and Richarlison, potentially Xavi Simons from Spurs as well, considering they play at home against Wolves, and I would have potentially Pedro Porro in there as well. But on a free hit, considering Udogie was rested midweek, only played 50 minutes, Udogie will probably be in my game week 6 free hit team. So triple up on Spurs. I would probably triple up on Man City as well. Haaland up front. I would take a punt on Phil Foden. So Phil Foden is one of those players we're not really sure if he will start, but it really looks likely that Phil Foden will start in game week 6. So on a free hit, Phil Foden would be in and potentially just play it safe with Guardiola. So on a free hit, no Newcastle players. I wouldn't pick any Arsenal players on a free hit as well. Really tough fixture against Newcastle. I would go for potentially a punt on Gibbs White, considering the fixture and his ownership. So my front line would probably be Erling Haaland, Richarlison, Joe Pedro, and I would have Gibbs White in midfield. Sorry. Considering that Cole Palmer is injured and will miss the next couple of game weeks, I would put Enzo Fernandez in as well. On penalties for Chelsea at the moment, so perfect for a free hit. So that will be the foundation of my free hit team. But as mentioned, I haven't really made a free hit draft ahead of game week 6. I made a video with a wildcard team, but haven't really spent that much time on a free hit, but those players would definitely be in my team. Radu Gaviluta, should I go Gabriel for Milenkovic considering possible price changes tonight? In order to do this, I would take a -4 hit. I can see the temptation chasing the price rises, but in the end, it's all about points. So I would just keep Milenkovic for one more game week and potentially get Gabriel next game week, to be honest. Good fixture for Milenkovic. I know that he got subbed off, but I think that Milenkovic will start game week 6 and a good fixture against Sunderland, so potentially a clean sheet for Nottingham Forest. A tough fixture for Arsenal, so Gabriel, really good option on a wildcard. He would be in my team, but I wouldn't take a -4 to do Milenkovic to Gabriel. Charlie, appreciate it. I got most of those. Would you consider Salah or any Everton? Hello, is Xavi Simons nailed? I think Xavi Simons is a good option, but I don't think he's nailed. I think that he will start game week 6, but once Spurs get some players back from injury, I think that he will see some rotation, to be honest. So decent FPL option, but nailed. I won't say that he's definitely nailed on to start week in, week out. Still a good option. On some set pieces, taking corners, free kicks when he's playing. So I think he, as mentioned, is a decent punt. Charlie, would you consider Salah on a wildcard? The thing is that when it comes to playing the free hit, I really like taking a couple of punts, and Going without Salah is kind of a punt, and I like the idea of going for Everton players rather than Salah. He hasn't really looked that great so far this season. It's not the worst fixture, of course, for Liverpool playing against Crystal Palace, even though Palace have been decent defensively. But on a free hit, I would go without Mo Salah. I would potentially be more interested in taking a punt on someone like Gakpo because of the Ekitike red card. He will probably start in game week 6. Alexander Isak, decent shout for a free hit as well, considering the red card I just mentioned. But Mo Salah would probably not be in my free hit draft. Harold Jang, is Alexander Isak a good option for this game week? Will I have to transfer him out next week, or should I just bench him since Slot already mentioned he will not be in match fitness until... It kind of depends if you're on a wildcard or if you're using your free transfers or if you're on a free hit. I think that if you're on a free hit, Alexander Isak is probably a good shout for game week 6 considering Ekitiki's red card, but we know that Alexander Isak, he has only started one game since like May. So I think that Alexander Isak is probably a wait and see considering those comments from Klopp about him not being 100% match fit. But if you're on a free hit, I think that he is a good shout for game week 6 considering Ekitiki's red card. Harold is that's Radu or taking a -8 in order to go Chris Wood to Gyökeres and enjoy to Reinders. I'm really tempted to get rid of Chris Wood myself, but I will definitely wait one more game week. Chris Wood against Sunderland is actually one of the bookies' favorites for anytime goal scorer, so I will keep Chris Wood this game week, but I will make sure to have enough in the bank to do Chris Wood to Gyökeres ahead of game week 7. FPL Dennis, good evening, mate. Thanks for joining in. So FPL Dennis, making really good FPL videos himself, having live streams like this with wildcard reviews, stuff like that. So if you enjoy that kind of content, check out FPL Dennis' YouTube channel as well. Really good content. Thoughts on early Alexander Isak punts? The things with Alexander Isak is that I'm not really sure if he is a good punt at the moment. As mentioned, if you're on a free hit, I think that he is a good option for game week 6, especially considering Ekitike is suspended and he will sit out game week 6. But I think that potentially in game week 7, it will be the other way around and Alexander Isak will be back on the bench while Ekitike will potentially start game week 7. So considering the fixtures, I think that at the moment Alexander Isak is a wait and see, to be honest. I know, but I don't feel great about having Milenkovic and Doy and Chris Wood in my team, considering bad recent results, Neil. I like that other transfer you suggested, so keep Chris Wood this game week and get Gyökeres next week, but selling Endoy to bring in Reinders, I will probably avoid a hit and just do Endoy to Reinders this game week. So if you haven't done so already, please consider joining the head-to-head mini league as well. The link is in the description down below, and it's in the scrolling texts down there as well. And if you haven't done so already, please consider giving this stream a like and subscribe to the channel. At the moment, it's 3,044 subscribers. A really, really great number, to be honest. I didn't really think it would be that high. Journey so far. Agree with the above, Neil. Yeah, I would just keep with this game week. I think that Gyökeres can wait one game week, especially considering that Arsenal playing against Newcastle. I already used my free transfers. Yeah, you said it was for a -8, of course, so you have no free transfers left. So, considering you have no free transfers, I would probably just play both Chris Wood and Endoy this game week, to be honest. I think Endoy will start. Decent fixture for Nottingham Forest playing at home against Sunderland, so I can see the temptation, and you will be well set up for the upcoming game weeks, but -8, I think this is a bit too much for those transfers, to be honest. So I actually have 3 free transfers at the moment. My plan is to sell Elanga. I will probably sell Wirtz as well, and my replacements will be NGI, the Everton midfielder, and Mbumo. The reason why I'm going for Mbumo rather than Bruno Fernandes is because if I go Mbumo, I have enough to upgrade Chris Wood to Gyökeres in game week 7. Neil, play Grealish or Stach this game week? I would give Grealish a go this game week. Grealish has looked really good ever since joining Everton. 2 assists in game week 2. Another brace of assists in game week 4 as well. It's unlucky in game week 5, should have got a goal, but I would definitely start Jack Grealish in game week 6. The thing is that when it comes to those 50-50 decisions, benching headaches, I think in most cases it makes sense playing the most expensive player. Will really hurt taking a punt on Stach if he blanks and Grealish does well sitting on your bench. I'm afraid Milenkovic will drop in price and Gabriel will rise. Let's have a quick look at the predicted price changes. So I think I checked this like 30 minutes ago. So Gabriel, he will probably rise be 6.2 in the morning. I think Gabriel will rise while Milenkovic, he will probably drop. So you're correct when it comes to those price changes. You will lose a bit of value, but of course this makes the decision a bit more tricky. But in my opinion, I would just keep Milenkovic, to be honest. It kind of depends at what price you brought Milenkovic in as well. Let's see, he's only 5.5, so yeah. You will lose value on Milenkovic, and you will have to buy Gabriel at a slightly more expensive price of 6.2 ahead of game week 7. But my advice would be to not get too caught up by those price changes. It makes sense playing Milenkovic game week 6 and waiting another game week to bring in Gabriel. So I would actually take the 0.2 price gap. And you will have more information heading into game week 7 as well. So yeah, that would be my advice. But of course, if you really want to catch the price rises, the decision is totally up to you, of course. I agree that the price rises makes it really tempting to go ahead and do those moves. But I think that other than the price changes, it makes really sense to just play Milenkovic game week 6, bring Gabriel in next game week. So I need to go really soon. I will have a deadline stream tomorrow as well. So if you're interested, go join that one. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it out. I haven't made any transfers this evening. I was really close to just pull the trigger on Elanga to NGI and Virts to Mbumo. We'll probably do those moves tomorrow. I have no price change concerns like Radu, so I will just wait a bit longer. We can potentially get some news tomorrow, so my plan transfers Elanga and Virts out, NGI and Mbumo in, and ahead of game week 7 I will most probably sell Chris Wood and bring in Gyökeres. At the moment, triple captain Erling Haaland. I don't really see this unless we get any news about Erling Haaland. I think I will go through with the triple captaincy this game week. But if you're interested, go join the live stream tomorrow. And if you don't find the time, have a nice weekend and best of luck for game week 6.